The issue of power generation has remained a big challenge for authorities. Recent findings show that power generation has again dropped by about 1,600 megawatts. And this has made power distribution more challenging than it has been these last couple of months. Joining me, what are the generating companies not doing well, and how can the nation get out of these fluctuations? Joining me now to discuss this is energy expert and managing director of CCS Technologies Limited, Engineer Arthur Usiagwu. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've talked about this before, how much we're distributing, how much we're generating. What's the exact figure that we have dropped to?
Well, in the last 5 days, we had some issues with gas, and the generation, we lost about 2,000 megawatts. But in the last 3 days, there has been some improvement. I think since yesterday and today, we're hovering around 4,200 megawatts.
Wow. But were you surprised at the drop in power? I mean, we're still talking about gas. We're still, it sounds like we're having recurring problems all the time.
Yeah, it's so sad that after so many years that the Electricity Reform Act of 2005 came into stream. We are still talking about challenges. Challenges in the area of gas supply to generating stations, challenges in the area of pricing, challenges also in metering consumers. And one would expect that haven't put in so much money in the electricity subsector for now, we should be having some dividend. It looks as if we are still looking at this problem from one angle. If we have been putting all our efforts in one direction, and it's very clear that we are not making any inroads. So what we need to start looking at now is to think the unusual way to be able to take this country out of this darkness. And that is what we need to do. I would like those who are saddled with the responsibility of putting this policy in place to critically look at the embedded power option. That is the only way we can take this country out of this trouble. If you look at Ikeja Electric, for example, there is nothing wrong in the Gencos thinking about putting in package distribution stations so that we can augment what we have from the grids. Now, the grids is comatose, generation, we're having problem, distribution is sick, and this problem is continuing. It seems we don't even have a solution to all this problem.
Yeah, you didn't even mention the estimated billing, which seems to have continued. A lot of Nigerians have been complaining recently. Does that mean that perhaps the 45% increase in tariff may have taken effect without us knowing?
Yes, if you look at February bill, that is already on the pipeline, and it has taken effect, even if we know that the Senate has already called the NERC to order to say this is not right, this is not the way to go. We said this before, that first thing first, we don't have this power, and we are thinking about increasing tariff. That is not where we should go now. We need to solve this problem, ensure that we have power by looking at embedded option, as I said. Now, there is a company within Lagos that is even having a whopping 30 megawatts of electricity. And the Gencos are not taking advantage of this. So this is the only way we can go, because we cannot be talking about electricity issues for the past 10 years. And we seem to have we've not been able to make any improvement. For so many years now, we've been hovering around 4,000 megawatts. When we got to 5,000, we all shouted uhuru. But now we went back as low as about 2,000 plus.
But you've done all the research, so what's the shortcut here to get into where we're going? Because if you have to mention all the things that you're talking about, yeah, it's going to take some time. So what's the quickest way to get there? I mean, at least to have some relief and have at least 17 hours of power a day.
It is possible, Amarachi. We just need to do what is right. And I'll give you a very simple example. If you look at Lagos Metropolis today, you see street lightings coming up everywhere. These are off-grid. Something is happening. We should adopt the same approach to ensure that for each cluster, we provide the embedded option, generate this power, distribute it, so that a co-distribution zone, for example, Ikeja Electric, for example, can have this power available from the embedded option so that we can solve this problem once and for all. But if we keep on trusting that we are going to generate power from maybe somewhere like Pakpalanto, and we are piping gas all the way from Niger Delta to this end, it's going to give us a lot of problems. So the embedded option is the only way we can go. Package generating stations are possible, which we can do in about 3-4 months, and we can change this phase of continuous problem with electricity generation in this country.
Let's hope the appropriate authorities are listening and are taking notes. Thank you so much, Mr. Engineer Arthur Usiagwu, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Amarachi, for having me.